Well, you know that you have to stay humble with when you begin nailing predictions, and it has happened to me a couple times that I've nailed some of those predictions and I've missed some of them. So you know, you win some, lose some, like the Motorhead song. But I don't know. I remember that let's talk about James Holt. We're gonna be talking about James Holt, the funeral plans of King Charles that include apparently Harry and Meghan. I don't know how, but well, let's move with this. And we're gonna be talking about Republic of Tea. I missed on that story, and well, the whatever Meghan was planning to launch today. But let's start with James Holt. In October 2023, I told you that James Holt was, let's say, he was willing to step aside, step back, just leave Archwell. You know that he has been literally the right-hand man of Harry and Meghan ever since, well, forever. And one of the reasons I can imagine that, well, they told him, hey, great things are coming with Netflix. You cannot leave us now. We have a launch of a product next year called American Riviera Holt. We already know how that went. We will have this cooking show. You remember that's one I missed. I told you there was going to be no cooking show. There was a cooking show, but I know that you now wish there was no cooking show anyway. I know that. I know for a fact that you wish there was no cooking show. Lucky for every single one of us, there was a cooking show and we could make videos about it. In the end, that is the silver lining. And then he was promised, hey, we're going to launch yet another brand and let's see how it goes. So the reason we are talking about James Holt might have to do with news like this. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle at the heart of King Charles' funeral plans. Now, this triggered a ton of people. I can understand why. But you can imagine that King Charles cannot leave Harry and Meghan out of his funeral. First thing, most important, is that Harry is always going to be his son. That is not going to change. And I have to include some black humor here, but he's going to be dead, so what the F? So what? It's no big deal at that point. Okay, so it's everyone else's problem. It's going to be William's problem, which is a bit unfair, right? It's maybe William will have to go through it, but at the same time, William will have, from that point on, like carte blanche to do whatever he wants with Harry. We still hope that William does the right thing, but I've told you at the same time that Harry and Meghan, in terms of the royal family, are pretty much nothing. And even in the titles, I have no reason to be stripped of the titles because the titles are useless. I mean, the Duke and Duchess of Sausages. But we have James Holt back in the UK. I mean, for what? Sure sounds like James Holt says Harry Meghan's pair. The Sausages gopher is about to get markled. His recent surrogacy disclosure and online ass-kissing of Jason Nauf's posts point to that direction. I mean, even if some people are saying, I think it was, I miss the, Nancy Sidley. Even if Nancy Sidley from the Sidley twins, big shout out to the Sidley twins. My thoughts so far, Harry is desperate to come home to the UK. That is one thing, and I agree. We have talked about that at large in the Royal Rogue. Harry is homesick. He wants to come back to the UK. He still has not found himself in the streets of Montecito. He's really lonely. He's not looking good. You can see in this non-edited picture. This picture has not been edited in any way. So we know that the guy, well, you know, they say we could ask the body language guy for this one. Not necessary. Proves he's not doing well. James Holt probably cares about Harry and sees that he needs help, but he doesn't want to cross Meghan. This could be a way of trying to get Harry away from a toxic environment while Meghan is distracted with her garbage brand. I don't think Meghan is that distracted right now. Meghan is beginning to slip in those cracks of it's already past the effect, the punch of her show, already past the effect of her brand, and now it's waiting for what? what is the next step? I don't know. Maybe there's a next step, and I always told you again, if she makes more content, if she makes more content in her Instagram, if she does more things, more power to all of us, because it's more entertaining. More entertainment. This could be a way of trying to get Harry away from a toxic environment. It's like the plot 2, Not Without My Daughter. Allegedly, of course. Again, it's like, why is James Holt liking things on LinkedIn about royals? Why would he be doing that? Is he, I don't know, trying to build some kind of bridge for Harry? Maybe it's the I don't know at which time, 70th divorce rumors. So I don't know how many times we have to talk about that. But again, Harry and Meghan's right-hand man appears to extend an olive branch to two senior royal household staff, including William's aide, Jason Knauf, who exposed Meghan Markle bullying allegations. That is, I would say that is openly treasonous. That is openly treasonous in Meghan's book. If I was Meghan, I would say that is complete treason. In no way, there's so many ways that you can rebuild like kind of a bridge with the UK. But at this point, we know that King Charles is not picking up Harry's calls. I made that meme. We know that William wants nothing to do with either Harry, of course, not Meghan also. So what is this about? What is this about? Harry could come back to the UK at any time, and he could say, hey, I just need to hang out here, and that would be nice. But how would that look for, Meghan's lifestyle trad wife brand that she wants to push? I don't know. That would be catastrophic. According to TASS, this is rather interesting. Harry and Meghan's executive director of Archwell, James Holt, has been liking posts by Jason Knauf, who is their arch nemesis from, years, who protected staff from Meghan and reported her to Prince William. And also, he's now living back in the UK. And we know that, thanks Royalisage for the screenshot, that he has this comment. What platform is this? This is, I think this is what? This is LinkedIn, right? Yeah, this is LinkedIn because this says third. Okay, this is LinkedIn. Congratulations, delighted for you and your family, and thanks for sharing. I'm very lucky to have also just gone through surrogacy, all right, with a capital S. With a capital S. But here in the UK, so this is not like a figure of a speech that you're sometimes are speaking and you say here in the UK or coming to the UK, in a just throw in the line kind of way. No, it's very specific. I'm very lucky to have also just gone through surrogacy, but here in the UK. Doesn't get more clear than that. I just wanted to flag for others who may read. There's an organization called Surrogacy UK, will help us immensely. Maybe that's the reason that he capitalized that word. Our surrogate had a lot of support, and while I agree there is so much to be done to improve our UK laws, there's real genuine support that exists. So you essentially bought a baby, all right, understood. Oh my God, I don't know. Don't get me started. I don't want the Royal Rogue to get into those depths. I already have way more channels that are dedicated to heavy stuff. The Royal Rogue has to remain, lighthearted. Did James Holt move back to the UK? He's all over LinkedIn and liking very interesting posts. They're working for work. And it was a very special event earlier this week celebrating 25 years of the Royal Drawing School at St. James Palace, with a special curated exhibition of some of the UK's most greatest artists. And James Holt celebrates this. And there's the king in there. Oh, nice. Nice. Other thing that I forgot to mention in other shows. King Charles III and Idris Elba are teaming up for a new documentary marking 50 years of the King's Trust. By the way, I was a bit conflicted about this. Why would the king appear in a documentary of Netflix? But it so happens that I think the outreach and the that the attention that can be brought to this program through Netflix could be really massive. So maybe that counterbalance a bit what Netflix did with The Crown. Maybe just a 10%, but 10% is something worth doing for. And I guess that he was personally invited by Idris Elba. So I guess that was the right thing to do. Maybe that was the right thing to do. So we already spoke about Nancy Sidley, and this is one of the reasons why I think that James Holt, in all cases, hasn't left Archwell yet. You know, American Riviera Holt chart with those stickers. I still have. Where's my? I think I archived it. My mock-up American Riviera Holt chart jam, and also the Netflix show, the cooking show. I think that he was waiting for all that to materialize to see what was he going to do with his life. Although it's a bit on the nose, he liking those stuff, and this is something that I hadn't mentioned. Big props to the one, I don't know who was the one who found on the code, the metadata of the website of As Ever, as in they found out that the actual brand was Republic of Tea. This is something that I mentioned in other of my videos, like a long time ago, like 2 years ago. Meghan launches a brand. This is gonna be a white labeling. White labeling is that someone else creates this stuff, packages the stuff, mails this stuff, and you just put a sticker on it with your brand. That is white labeling. That is common practice, although it's a bit misleading in this case, because Meghan wanted to make it seem like she was the one behind everything. Now we know that As Ever is delivered from Illinois. That is quite far away from her Montecito home, by the way. Also, there's already highway robbery, says HRH Lady J, that she's charging $15 for 1 ounce of dried flowers you can get from the Republic of Tea for $8.50. So there was like a 50%, like 100% markup, and in some cases 200% markup. It was 3 times the price of what the Republic of Tea was selling. You know that that's something that you can do. This is perfectly legal. There's nothing illegal in this. You have a brand, Republic of Tea. You create the tea, you create the dried flowers, you create the tea leaves, everything. And at the same time, you offer your product as white labeling for other brands. No big deal, but the big deal is, let's say, you don't have to disclose it, right? You don't have to disclose it if you are the brand who is engaging on the white labeling. But it's a bit, let's say, it's a bit pathetic that you pretend to, this is all homemade in Montecito when it's not. That is the thing that is, a bit, if not a bit, a lot misleading. It's been revealed that the supplier of our As Ever tea is Republic of Tea, based in California with a factory in Illinois. This company also makes Bridgerton and Downtown Abbey branding, the products sold by Netflix for their shows. So again, this is I see nothing wrong in here. This is standard business practice. The problem is how Meghan is posing, literally, as this jam-making, trad wife, all happy, in Montecito, sprinkling the dead flowers and the stuff when, well, she's essentially not doing that. And not to mention the wine that she was launching on Lady Di's birthday, which is a bit disgusting, since you know that how Lady Di died, in which date, and under which circumstances, which is related to alcohol. So, I don't know, it was disgusting, but I would like to know what you think about this in the comments. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Royal Rogue. Much love and blaze.